Hi, and welcome to this Fornav coffee break. My name is René Brummel. I'm a product specialist at Fornav, and I will be your presenter today. As this coffee break is live, you can ask your questions via the GoToWebinar question window. We will answer them at the end of the coffee break. Today, we're going to test the health of our Business Central reports. We have often spoken about how Fornav makes report editing easier. Power users and functional consultants can easily edit reports with Fornav. However, what happens when things go wrong? In Business Central, you can make many functional settings based on reports. You can change report selections, add report layouts, and with Fornav you can even add data items and related records to your reports. What if a table gets obsoleted? What if a report's dataset changes? That can cause all sorts of issues that you may not be aware of until it's too late. That's why Fornav now automatically tests the health of your report and settings. To explain report health checks, I'm going to use these steps. The prerequisites, what do I need to get going? In step 2, I will explain what happens when a report's dataset has changed. In step 3, I will show how we test for obsolete tables and fields. In step 4, I will discuss what happens when tables get deleted. Let's start with the first step. Today, I will be working in a Business Central on-premise server with the Business Central 2024 Wave 1 release. I've installed the Fornav customizable report pack, and I've executed a step-by-step wizard from the assisted setup to get started. The Fornav features I will demonstrate today will only be available on Business Central 2023 Wave 2 or above, and on Fornav version 7.3.0.10 or above. I have installed and set up the Fornav Designer. You can download the Fornav Designer from the Fornav website. And of course everything I do today will also work in a cloud environment. One major issue with Business Central reports is that you can create a report and replace them easily, and especially with Fornav, but it is hard to see where a report is used. There may be report selections or custom layouts in the system, for instance, that may not work anymore after you've changed the reports. We'd like to know this as soon as possible. Let's see what I mean. So let me open Business Central, and you will see that in this system I have a custom report which is called report. If I open the report page, you can see that this report has its built-in layout, the one that comes with the extension, and the one that comes and the custom layout that I've created myself. Now you can see right here there's a new tab called Report Health, and that tells me that the report is actually healthy at the moment and it's last been checked at the moment just before I started this recording. I can run a health check manually, and I will run the health check and comes back with healthy. So, like I said, what happens when this report changes? Well, this report is inside Visual Studio Code. It's actually right here. If I open Visual Studio Code, we have the report 50,100, which is called PTE report. And you can see that this report is built on the customer table. If I change this to vendor, this is something that might actually happen during the course of a project or something, that the report is built on the wrong table, we need to change it, and things happen. So I've changed it. I'm publishing this to Business Central. And in Business Central I go back to my reports, go to the report, and you will see right now that the health status when I open the report is actually on error. The health status check is errors exist, and if I click I will get a full list, and what I get right here is the check dataset changed. Fornav has now recognized that I've changed the dataset of this report. I've changed the source table from customer to vendor, which means that I need to do a full check. I can drill down on this, and that will give me some more information. It gives me things about the test and the result, information about reports and tables and everything if I should need it, and most of all right here a lot of error information. And it says right here the report dataset has changed, please run a full health check, and this gives me some information about the test as well. So it says please run a full health check. Let's go and do that. Health check, and that will actually show up 3 issues that I have in this system. The first issue is, let's drill down, I get a broken report selection, and the report usage requires data item 18 customer, and that is not found in report 50,010. What actually happens is that in my report selection sales, I've used this report in the customer statement. The customer statement needs a customer table to run a report. This report doesn't have the customer table anymore, so it won't run in with the report usage. So that's one issue. I have two similar issues. The datasets of the layouts don't match anymore. We all know reports contain a layout part and a code part, and I've changed my data item in the AL part, but I haven't pushed that into my 4nav report. And then of course I have a custom layout which has the same problem. Custom layout is built on the customer table. Obviously what I've just done is not something that I should have done, so let's go back to VS Code and let's change my table back to customer and publish this to Business Central once again. Go to my reports, open the report. It still shows error because once again the dataset of this report has been changed, so I need to run a full health check. The full health check only runs after a specified time is passed after the previous health check. Since I do all of the health checks in a single day, it doesn't check automatically, so I need to do so manually. So my health check has returned and everything is now back in order. Another issue we hear often is that tables and fields get obsoleted. Reports can run for years without a problem and then suddenly break. Visual Studio Code gives you a warning for this. However, since with 4nav we can add data items and records in report layouts, we need to check for obsoleted tables and fields inside Business Central. So to check for all of this stuff, obviously we can check this per report, but that would be a bit time consuming. So I can open the 4nav setup page, and on the 4nav setup page there is also a report health fast tab, and that at the moment gives me the status healthy. It runs in the background when you open the page, so every time you open the page the 4nav health check runs. It actually runs in the background, so it doesn't slow anything down. You can also run it manually and that will again give me the result healthy. So what happens if I change some stuff? We saw earlier that I have a special extension that I can play with, and this extension has a PTE table and a PTE obsolete table, and you can see that at the moment these are not obsoleted. Well, what happens if I do obsolete them? And this is actually something that happens quite often. ISVs and Microsoft obsolete tables and fields all the time because they are actively developing their systems, and they might find at some point that a field is no longer needed or a table is no longer needed. So if that happens, they obsolete it, but however, if you use it inside a report or in some 4nav setup, stuff will break. How do we find out? Simply open the 4nav setup again, and you will find that once the check has completed running, it has run and the status is error and errors exist. Once again, you can click for a full list. This gives me a full list of stuff where this report, where these tables were used. And you can see that right here I have in the 4nav language, I have 3 error messages. So let's have a look at those. You can see these are not specified to a single table. And it says table my PTE obsolete table is used in the 4nav language and it's obsoleted, and it gives you the reason why this table is obsoleted as well. If I open the record, I can go to this table and I can fix it. The same with the other errors. So here we have a field obsolete. It gives me the message this table is no longer needed. That's fine. If that table is no longer needed, I can open the record and I can delete it, or obviously if I have a record in the 4nav language, it may also be that that record, that field, is used inside a 4nav report somewhere, because otherwise it wouldn't be in the 4nav language, and I would need to open the reports and fix it there as well. Then I have a bunch of reports with some error messages. We have the report that we were just working on, and it looks like that has an obsolete table. So this is a check on the report data items. This report has a data item that is set to PTE my obsolete table. That table is now obsolete, and it throws a warning. And in the layouts, the built-in layouts and the custom layout, I have these warning fields as well. So these fields and tables are used in those layouts. Same as in the customer list, I have warnings there as well. So just to see what's going on, I can actually design my customer list. Open it in the 4NAV Designer. And you will find that in the customer list I have a record that uses the PTE my table. The PTE my table is linked to customer number to field number, and that field number is now obsolete, which is unfortunately that's something I would need to fix. Finally, it may be that this obsolescence of this specific field is something that is either going to play somewhere in the far future, or is something that does not impact me, because it may be that the length of the field is going to be increased. That's not something that's going to impact me at any point. And to work around this, I can actually add an exception for some of the error messages. And if you add exception, it will give you the add exception wizard, where you can see that this is now for the customer list only. I don't want this for the customer list only. And it will tell me that the issue that I'm blocking is the table number 50,100 and the field number for customer number. I need to specify why. It is not important for me. It is created by me, and I'm going to finish this, which means that if I now run the 4NAV health test once again, I still get error messages, but I don't get all of them, because everywhere where that specific error was, it is now accepted, so I don't get the error anymore. You can find the exceptions. You can see how many exceptions are in the system right here. And of course, you can find all of the exceptions right here, where you can find them, see what's been changed, why it's been changed, and you can disable the exception. And if you disable the exception, the error message pops back up again. Finally, a report, table or field may be removed altogether. This won't happen very often inside Business Central, since fields and tables in AppSource extensions need to be obsoleted first. With a per-tenant extension, it is very possible though. Let's go and have a look. So let's go back to Business Central, and the easiest way to make sure all of these tables don't exist anymore is of course to remove them in the extension management. Let's find my extension. Here we go, the health check test. I will uninstall that. And now the report is missing from the system, even though it is still used in some places. Some tables and stuff are missing, even though they are still used in 4NAV reports. So let's open the 4NAV setup. Let's run the health, and let's have a look at what is going on. You will find right away that in the report language we have tables missing and we have fields missing. Again, you can drill down and find all of the error information, find the information about the test, and you can find information on how to fix it. In this case, it's really simple. If I open the record, you will actually find that the table that is used in this 4NAV language record is actually missing, because I don't get the table name. Then we have the report language, and there is a report missing. We have an orphaned report layout. That is actually quite a curious message. What this tells me, and there's no way of finding this out otherwise, is that there is a report layout in the system, but there is no report for it anymore. Normally Business Central won't give you that message, because if there's no report, it won't tell you if there's any report layouts for it. And however, if you now upload another report on the free number 50,100, that all of a sudden has a report layout that quite possibly doesn't match the layout, the data set that is in the report. So this is actually a very important message. And once again, you can open the record where it is and do whatever you need to do with it, probably delete the layout. We have orphaned report selections. As we saw before, we used this report 50,100 in the report selections customer statement. That needs to be fixed. And finally, the customer list, we found used the PTE My Table, and that field and the table are now missing, which means that that report doesn't run anymore. All of this stuff is, you can drill down into it, get all of the information you want and fix it as you think is best. Let's recap what we just did. We found that our Business Central reporting setup can break for several reasons. Tables and fields can be obsoleted, objects can be removed or uninstalled, report datasets can change. ForNav will help keep our report running smoothly by doing some health testing every time you open a report card or the ForNav setup. All tests run in a background session to optimize performance. If there are any issues in ForNav, we will indicate this in the report or setup cards, and from there you can investigate the issues and fix them. If you have any issues that we should also test on, please let us know, and as always you can find the extension I've used today on GitHub. Thank you for listening to me so far. I can see we have no questions, so I'm going to wrap up this coffee break. If you want to know more about ForNav, or if you want to download the ForNav Designer and Converter, please visit our website. If you want to install ForNav in Business Central Cloud, please visit the Microsoft App Source. You can watch more videos about ForNav on our YouTube channel, and if you have any questions about ForNav, please email them to support@fornav.com. For a full list of upcoming and recorded coffee breaks, please visit fornav.com/coffeebreak. Thank you very much for listening. Goodbye.